Hey y'all, it's Lincia on Do What You Love series. On today's episode, we have Alyssa Barker. Yay! Thank you so much for being
Thanks
here.
for having me.
Okay, so first question. Have you always known you wanted to be a photographer? Like, how did you know, or did you have a moment like, uh-huh, this is what I was meant to be?
It's so funny because I think a lot of photographers are like, I remember the first time I got my first camera and
Right.
stuff. And I don't have that specifically, but I think I always knew that I wanted to do something in the creative field. Like, I really loved magazines. And so I collected a bunch of magazines. I was also very obsessed with Hillary Duff.
Who was it? Yes.
So I would always buy her like the magazines that she was in and like rip out the pages and stuff. And I think I just got really interested in like covers of magazines. But then, I had a short period of time where I was like drawing, designing purses, and just was always kind of interested in like fashion. And when I was in high school, I joined yearbook. And it was kind of a weird situation where like there was essentially no one there in the new class that had done it prior.
Okay.
So we were all learning together. And and just the way that I am and the, kind of controlling person that I am, I just really took it over and was like, oh, I'm gonna take all the pictures. I'm gonna take all the pictures that we need. Yeah. And I think that's kind of where it started as far as kind of actively trying it. And, but yeah, I think I always kind of knew that that was what I was interested in. And then it just kind of like slowly sprouted. Yeah.
So how did you gain your confidence?
I think I've always been a confident person. But I mean, I think honestly, doing yearbook and kind of setting a tone for myself where I could go in front of the entire high school and be like out on the court taking photos of, my classmates or the game or anything like that. And also, it kind of allowed me to have a social aspect of it where it makes it, and I still find this today, makes it a lot easier to talk to people. It gives me a reason or an not an out or an in to be like, oh, I find you really interesting. Would you want to grab coffee sometime? Would you be interested in shooting together? And I haven't ever thought about this, but I think that that happened in high school too, where I could, be like, oh, everybody get together, You know how when you're a senior, you kind of like go get your senior photos done professionally.
Right.
And it's your like first kind of entrance into professional photography. But for us, for some reason, you don't get your like standard photo done. You have to have that professional photo done. And there's plenty of people that don't have money to spend
Right.
$300 to $500 on a photo that's just going to go in the yearbook. And so I was realizing we had so many missing spots on our pages. And so I reached out to everybody and said like, hey, would you want to go around the high school somewhere and we'll take a photo
Look at
so that you have
you.
one in there? Because I just thought, what do you mean? Like, what do you, they're going to buy this as well. What do you mean their photo's not going to be in it? So I think that's kind of what got me into portrait photography specifically. I never wasn't confident about it, even if maybe I shouldn't have been.
Right. I love that though. You're
Yeah.
supposed to be confident in whatever you do, but you already had it.
Yeah.
Being a photographer, you have so many moving parts. You have to direct your team, you have to direct your subject, and also build them up and give them confidence. So, how did you find your voice in being a leader?
I played sports. So I think that that came a little bit more naturally to me from that aspect, and also learning to take advice as well and take criticism. And when I was learning, I asked so many questions, would be on set with all these guys. I'm like, ooh, what's that? What's this? Why did you decide that that's how you were going to light this? And I think being on other people's sets helped so much because I genuinely had no clue what like all went into a photo shoot.
Right.
In my mind, I was looking at Cosmopolitan's, covers, and they're all like a plain colored backdrop, with all these celebrities, and I thought they must just have like a photographer that works in their office, and they just, bring the people into the office, and that's how they shoot them, and it's just them and the artist.
Right.
And that can be true in a lot of cases, but I had no idea about lighting techs and photo assistants and production assistants and all of those things. So I think being on other people's sets and learning, oh, you need to delegate and you need to manage, but also you need to let the people that you hired do their job as well. A little bit of sports, but a little bit of just, watching other people and learning what all goes into it, really.
People are always, I don't want to say lost, but like they're trying to find the direction they want to go in, and they're calling almost,
Yeah.
And like you said, like Nashville is a music city. It's all country music.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out what you like, okay, I don't want to be in that scene. And then, okay, all of a sudden this magical opportunity to be able to shoot drag queens happened. Do you think that just kind of fell in place, or were you constantly in like a searching mode?
I think it fell into place. My friend Libby and I talk about this a lot because, she photographs musicians and she has a very cinematic type of way of shooting. And so we're very different in that way. But we always kind of laugh because the projects that we want find us. Yeah. So right now in the music scene, I have been working with like a lot of young female artists specifically, and they really have that fashion forward, like, let's make it glam, let's make it interesting. I don't want, just like the soft in a field look. They're bringing stylists, hair, wigs, all of the stuff, and I get so excited because I'm like, yes, that I will say there's a lot to be said about putting yourself out there and reaching out for the jobs that you want. That's a huge part of it, and a part that I'm not that great at. I will say just shooting your own personal work and kind of showing everybody what you're about also works, because then people find you and they're like, oh, that's what I want. That's my vibe. That's what I'm interested in. And that's also super exciting because somebody chose you based off of, the work that you decided to create on your own.
Okay, so I met you on set, and I also met your friend Libby, who you also worked with.
Yeah.
And I was just in awe of you two ladies because I've never seen two women work together so effortlessly and just like team players. I feel like in most industries, it's always like kind of like a push-pull, like I want to be seen, I want to be front and center. So how like what is your mindset working with other people and like inspiring and uplifting?
So I've talked about this recently with some people that were here from LA, and they're just like, Nashville is weird. Like, you all are all friends and supportive of each other. And it extends beyond Libby and I. We, especially the female creative portion of it, like we have a big group where we like pass jobs off to each other, and the St. Jude stuff, and we call it our group project. And there's room for all of us. Libby and I specifically, we just grew up from our internship helping each other, and so we were doing shoots for free or for $50 or something like that, and it was always, I don't have any money to pay you, but I'll trade you assist for assist, or stuff like that. And so not only do you want to succeed, but you want your friend to succeed as well. There's never a part of me that is sure, there's parts of me that I'm like, oh man, I would, I would love to have that job, but also we shoot so different. So there's a lot of stuff that she shoots that I wouldn't be good for. She had a client recently reach out to her with an idea for a shoot that was very much in the vein of me. And she told me recently, she said, I actually was like, I think you should reach out to Alyssa. And they ended up doing it. And I was so happy about that, because I was like, oh, well, you kind of get to extend your creativity into a different direction as well. But I also just thought it was so nice that she recommended me from like a solid client, like a returning client that she has. Yeah, I don't know. It's really cool to see. Maybe it's because we're a small city, but the creative community here is something that I wish everyone could experience. Beyond the photographers, the lighting technicians and all of that. I mean, we all hang out, like we're friends.
Right.
And it makes the job so much more fun because you get to travel with your friends, you get to work with your friends, you know, being on set. And if it is a stressful situation, you have people there that you trust as well to bring you back down to earth too, if you need to. I know, like, Libby will be on set together, and you know, if I'm not handling my stress very well, she can be like, "Hey, you okay?" And yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think there's space for all of us, and you know, not one person can photograph everyone. So yeah.
What advice would you give people that are pursuing their dreams?
My advice is always just keep walking in the direction that you want to go, because if you have a goal in mind and you make steps towards it, they don't need to be huge steps, but as long as you are just going,
Right.
I think that you get there. I know that that's not true for everyone, but I just think my brother and I are both artists. He's a screenwriter, and our parents never. I mean, my dad's like, you need to make money, you know, but you know, they never told us that we couldn't do whatever we did, you know, wanted to do.
Right.
And so I think I just never thought I couldn't achieve this. And so I just made steps that went along with the goal that I wanted. You know, I didn't go to college for photography. I didn't really care that much. And so I went to a school that gave me a scholarship for softball. And so I did 4 years of that. And then I said, okay, now can I start my life?
Right, yeah.
And so that's why I moved to Nashville. And, you know, I had no clue how to start what I wanted to do, but I knew, oh, maybe I should go to art school for a minute. And so I did that for a semester. And that led me to the internship. And I was like, okay, go to the internship. And then that led me to assisting and being on set. And so I did that for a long time. And then, you know, started shooting my own stuff. And now I have a contract job with Apple Music. And and so, like, I think just doing it in whatever form that you can do it, and you will get there. I see a lot of these other photographers in town specifically, and I'm like, oh man, you know, they're really doing it. They're freelance photographers. They are making a living off of this. They're killing it. And I also recognize that they're older than I am too. So, like, it is a process, and it, you know, can take a while, but I'm happy with where I'm at, and I know that, like, I'll continue to grow, and as long as I did better than last year, like, that's how I'm great with that. Yeah.
Baby steps.
Yeah.
That's all baby steps. So my last and final question, do you love what you do?
Yes. I love it. I would not want to do anything else. I had dinner recently with a few other photographers, and they were like, okay, what are your all's backup jobs? You know, what would you do if you weren't doing this or it doesn't pan out? And, you know, one of them was like a Pilates instructor, and somebody else was like a flight attendant. And I was like, I have not even thought about that. Like, this is work. This is working. And if this specifically doesn't work, I will still be in this industry in some sort of way. But yeah, this is what I want to do, and I'm doing it. So I don't see, I mean, sure, anything can happen, right? But yeah, no, I love what I do so much, and I am very grateful and excited to keep doing it.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye, y'all.
Bye.